you can tell it's a very different society than we're used to seeing. And with that comes criticism. Fair enough. But, I just wanted to share my small snapshot view of what I experienced. And no matter what I wanted to see on my side, it would never be received that way because of the fact we're staying in a nice hotel and it seemed like we're being paid off to say something. So there was a lot of things that just wouldn't have worked out. I took the video down and it was for the best.
And were you on with other creators on that trip? Like, did they also get backlash, or was it like you guys as a group?
YouTube is one of the most, it's one of the platforms where you can get the most backlash because there's a conversation going on. On Instagram, like the worst thing that happens is someone says a nasty comment, it gets a few likes, but people don't really like get deep into a conversation. And not to mention a photo will never say as much as a video can. And so you might have said a sentence in that video that didn't come across right, or whatever else. There's so much room for criticism in a video. So the Instagrammers, I was basically the only one who was doing a YouTube video of the trip, aside from like one other guy who did an entirely cinematic video, and that still got a lot of backlash, but not as much because it wasn't a vlog. So yeah, the others got backlash, but no one had it to the point where it wasn't more than they could just 48 hours later be over with it. People forget so quickly, but on YouTube that video would be there forever, and it was one of my most watched videos in the first hour, and I'm like, I don't want my most watched video or the video that could quite likely go viral being the one that hurts my reputation.
Yeah.
And I heard, I don't want to ever say that all the criticism was unfair. It's just, I guess I was naive to believe that it would be possible to separate and just appreciate one side of a country without involving the entirety of the country.
So how long was the video up for?
An hour. Well, people were calling me a murderer. It got really dark. It got really heated and emotional. And I mean, that was one thing. Then other people were calling me complicit with all of the different criticisms toward the country. So it was tricky. I really want to believe that Saudi Arabia can get their act together in these areas. And I think it's possible. I really think the best thing for them is opening up to the world. So in some senses, the argument of don't talk about them, don't show them, in my opinion, only keeps a country more isolated, and it only prevents the expansion of ideas, of beliefs. And so you look at Dubai, and Dubai is this vibrant place where so many different people come together. I think that's what Saudi Arabia wanted to do. And so it could have been a real positive, and I still think that's their strategy. Since then, I've been contacted for a couple music festivals in Saudi Arabia. Well, that was pre-COVID.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I did decline them just because I didn't think it was my place to get involved at that time. Maybe in a year now, when things kind of are, I don't know. I'm not gonna, although I would love to believe the idea that they want to be open about the country. Even I sent them the video for approval, and in that video I said the exact same thing. I said, look guys, this is awesome that they are opening up their country to other people. It's going to give the opportunity for the locals and for us to be able to make something better together. And they were cool with it. Like they were not telling me, you have to say this, you have to say we're this amazing nation that has everything figured out. There was a real openness to have people talk. And so it felt just a little bit unfortunate to me that there was no willingness to have that conversation. But I understand that flying in on a first class ticket takes away your credibility as that voice. So if I were to go back, I would do it maybe on my own dollar, and I would go in typical travel style, find a local guide who could take me to show me the real Saudi Arabia. And then hopefully people would be more open to seeing it, because I would love to go back.
Yeah, and you had a connection there too, right? Because your mom was a nurse there when she was younger. Is that correct? Yeah, which I think was a really cool thing, obviously, for you to include and like share that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, obviously, like the other stuff going on kind of overshadowed any of your personal connection of why you wanted to.
I think most people didn't watch the whole video. They probably just watched the first minute, and then they said, "Oh, look at the comments. I'm just gonna bash." Hate is contagious, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's crazy how I mean. Yeah, I'm a consumer. I'm not a creator, but it's crazy how you can look in the comment section and people are hiding behind these names and just saying like just stuff that I mean, just the most toxic stuff. It's really something that even just looking at it, even though I'm not involved in any of these videos or anything, it's just like, it's kind of like sad to see how much hate some people have in their hearts. Like it's wild.
Yeah. Because it really reflects nothing about the creator. It reflects about the person. I think criticism's fair. And I was actually really like totally cool with the people that left that criticism voiced in a way of reasoning, of discussion. But the people who take that firm stand of like, I am the holy one, you are the evil one. Those are the people that clearly need help. They have something in their lives that they are dealing with, and they take it out on other people. So I think that, unfortunately, I've seen a lot of hate these last few months. It's something I'm quite new to. Saudi Arabia was an anomaly in that, I'm fortunate. That was probably the only video I've ever had to take down. It was the only time I've ever really felt like, wow, that cut deep, because usually when you get 1,000 compliments and one insult, you can brush it off. But then when you start to get all these insults, no matter how thick-skinned you are, like it starts to bother you.
For sure.
And yeah, but that comes with the ground of being on social media. Unfortunately, there's going to be moments in your career where you'll do something that others don't agree with. Even the nicest, the best people, like I know channels that have just done everything clean and by the book, and they're literally the most like picture perfect couple, and they do one thing that people don't agree with, and it's like,
I think
the enemy. You are the enemy.
Referring to.
Well, I think right now the biggest thing, like I know Laura's had this a couple times, is she'll do something, and I mean being travel related, and the people are immediately jumping on like a COVID shame, which it's like, even if you were the safest person, wore a mask, got tested, all that stuff, people still jump on.
Yeah, because it's like I chose not to travel this year, like internationally or anything. And like I had not traveled, but like I'd go somewhere in BC and people would be like, you shouldn't be traveling. And it's like, what do you want from me? Like I'm trying to be as safe as possible. I'm not traveling internationally. I'm not traveling out of Canada, whatever, like all the last year. And it's just, it's really frustrating, honestly. I try not to let comments get to me, but me being an emotional person, it's always tough. You've always been someone who have been excellent at taking criticism. I'd say that's like where your strong suit. Does it ever actually affect you? Is there ever comments where you're like, oh, that stinks?
People will say things that are just silly insults. And no, I don't typically get too bothered by it. It's just unfortunate now that after a recent breakup, it's the insults that you would expect to last a day, a week, because people simply, have their own theories and opinions, and they have no merit to them. They will carry on until, I don't know, they don't seem to want to give up. So, I've had to restrict a lot of people on my feed because I won't put up with unnecessary negativity, especially when they have no grounds to them. So, that's been frustrating, but not hurtful, just frustrating.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty too of like owning your own page, is that if someone's taking it too far and they're overstepping, you can block them. And like, that's the freedom you have. And it's like, of course you don't want to go around blocking everyone, but essentially it's your page. If you're feeling like you're being unrightfully called out or anything like that, it's like have the ability to remove them. And I think people should.
You have to guide the conversation on your channel too. Like I love keeping feedback and criticisms because there's an intention for advancement, not for shaming or for pulling someone down. But when somebody is just spewing hate, the best thing you can do is remove it, because it brings all the other haters out. If you have 100%. One hateful comment, it's going to get more attention than the loving comment. And so it's getting more likes from the other people that relate to that comment, or that have something they want to get off their chest, or someone had a bad day and they have no control over themselves. They will pile on. And because comments rise to the top when they get more attention, it can actually take the neutral person and form their opinion too. Like people who are on the edge on something, whether it be about a breakup or a visit to Saudi Arabia or anything that can be controversial in nature, there's a lot of people that don't have their opinions formed, but they can easily be swayed by what they're reading from others. And they almost, without knowing it, lose control of their own thought. So you have to control the conversation on your channel, especially when it gets to that kind of place.
Yeah, because people are just downright mean, and there's a lot of times too when it's like, yeah, you can just tell the comment is uncalled for. It's just not like you're. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna cry this time. I'm not gonna cry, and then I'll be like,
Have you
why are
ever
people
cried?
so mean? Oh, 100%. I was having an emotional day, like last week or whatever. I was stressed about work, and someone was leaving these like really rude TikTok comments, and I was like, why are people so mean? I was like, Peter came out, and I was like, crying on the couch. I'm like, people are so mean. And then I got myself together, and I was like, no, F you. I'm not gonna let this affect me. But it does take a second, especially too when people pinpoint areas of your insecurity. That's for me what always kills me, because like for me,
Right.
I always, so like I get like melasma, which is like the darkening of certain sensitive areas of your skin. So when I travel, I get like melasma on like my nose and like on my upper lip. Basically looks like I have a mustache, which is not great for filming. So people always leave comments being like, time to shave, and I'm like, I'm going to hurt you, because I do everything to try and get rid of this stupid melasma, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a little thing, but it's something that like triggers something in me that I'm just like, I don't even want to film. I don't, whatever. And it's so funny how people know how to like pinpoint your insecurities and just like put the knife in and twist. You're like, okay, you know what? I've had enough for today, social media.
Yeah. No, that's definitely
But
comes
it
with
is
the
what it is. It
territory.
might also too be worse for women. I think men, it's
I
like,
think it
how
is.
many things are you going to insult a man on? Like whatever. Whereas women, it's like, oh, she's looking fat. She's looking skinny. She's not looking as pretty, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's, yeah.
It's very rare that I get attacked for any physical reason. I get more people concerned. They're like, Christian, you look tired. And sometimes I'm like,
You're like,
damn
yeah, no
right,
shit.
I'm tired. Like,
like I'm growing a multi-million-dollar business. Okay.
damn right, I'm tired. And
Yeah.
you know, like, actually, a lot of people have been saying I look skinny, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, but then I saw videos of me like 5 years ago, and I'm like, I had a way rounder face. So yeah.
For you, has there been any travel creators that have been really great connections you've made over the years, or people who, I mean, are like your close friends
or inspire you?
Yeah.
So I've always kind of been like a little bit on my own journey with all this. I don't think I started because there was any inspiration. I definitely, the person who I at one point in my life watched the most in the travel space was Ben Brown. That was like 4 years ago.
He's like OG travel vlogger. Yeah.
Yeah, he was just like creating cool videos of like travel, motocross, dirt biking. You know, he talked a lot about camera gear. So a lot of interest alignment there. And he also put it together in a nice package. And I liked his presentation style. It was very chill. And so that was probably one of the first people who when I was making my videos, I was like, I want to do more of that. I want to do, you know, more cinematics. I want to have B-roll, slow motion. And you would think it's easy just to copy someone, but then in reality, I got that 1DX Mark II and I started filming my toast in slow motion. And I realized I made my videos really shit. So there was a huge recalibration process, and it's still undergoing all the time. I think I have the formula figured out, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I should do less of this, more of that. That's like always going to be there. I don't think anyone's going to get to a place where they're like, I'm satisfied, I'm there. But he's one of the people that I took early inspiration from the most, I would say. Other than that, not really. One of the people that you know, I think are doing a really good job in YouTube altogether are like the Yes Theory guys, because what they do is they're so strong at the title and thumbnail game. And for me, that really shows me that no matter what, I can go off on a journey and tell an incredible travel story. But if my goal is to make sure this video does as well as possible, it's important to do the latter, but also think about the title thumbnail first and create your whole video around that topic. So that's kind of something that for the last 2 years, I've been saying I want to really get together. And to some extent, I still have not been doing that as well as I need to be. But they are definitely good role models for how I should be kind of doing my videos in the realm of travel. Really chasing those topics that have that high click-through rate and have a good thumbnail that will catch people's attention. Also, for my newest video, I changed something, and that was really interesting. I did a whole video on it in LCA, where I was, from the very start of creating the video, I was like, look, guys, this is a big video. I don't know how it's going to do, but I need to make sure it does well because I'm putting everything into this. So I basically share the process of trying to create the perfect thumbnail and title. And then Max and I had edited 3 different thumbnail options. And I was like, okay, this is one way to go about it. But what if we just take today, write it off, and let's go and shoot something specifically for this video? So we went to H&M. I bought a cheap suit, and then I asked my buddy if I could borrow his pool, jumped in his pool, and that's how we got that thumbnail. Instead of using those other thumbnails, I took them as well as the new one I'd created, and I ran like a bunch of testing and polls on my Instagram stories. And because of it, I think it's the fastest video that's ever hit 100,000 views on my channel. So it is like the most positive reaffirmation that this is what I have to do within reason for almost every video. If I spend like several $1,000s making a video, you know, and then I spend a week filming it, how dumb is it that I only give it an hour to create the thumbnail and the title? And that's often what it is, because it's like, it's such a process. I'm like, I got to move on to the next video. I can't do this. And so I just think I need to realign my strategies again. It was cool that it turned into be an LCA lesson, because it was almost like I was learning as I did it. But I think it's true that I will be probably reserving a half day to a day now for the creation of a unique thumbnail, so that I can hopefully create something that will outlive the quality of the video. And that all relies on title, thumbnail. Huge tangent, but those are the two creators. And then of course I've met a lot of people through this content creation game. You know, it's been amazing. A lot of these people have become good friends. One of the guys actually is hopefully coming out to Bali. His name's Sol. He was traveling with me in Egypt, and he's a dude who I met in Cappadocia. And I was like, hey, you know, it was so nice to meet you. See you later. He came to Istanbul when I was there. We met up again, and we had such a good time. He was training us from our villa or our loft. And I was like, look, this is crazy, but if you want to come, we're going to Egypt in about a week. And surely enough, he went back to Amsterdam just to grab some stuff, and then he met us there. And we traveled together for like a month. And like, I can already say, like, that's the kind of person that will be a lifelong friend. And then, you know, Cam and Kelsey, that we met them through content creation. They're still my best friends. And so I've met a lot of people that are more than just the on-screen presences. They're going to be long-term lasting friendships that really matter.
And that's so special too, to be able to connect with those people like you wouldn't normally, if you weren't doing this, be able to connect with, and like-minded individuals. I was also going to say too, that's about going back to the thumbnail thing. That's interesting you say that, because I remember actually a friend of mine telling me that he spoke to Mr. Beast once, who, I mean, Mr. Beast is he's such a successful YouTuber, and he apparently spends, and him and Yes Theory, they spend 80% of their time on content or on thumbnail creation and title, like testing them, and 20% of the time filming the video. And I was like, that's so interesting and people don't even realize that. And I, for sure, myself don't even do that by any means, but it's something I need to focus on more. But
it's not natural. It's a business
decision. It feels weird. Yeah. But the thing is, if you want anyone to watch your video, you need a high click-through rate. And so having something, and even doing testing and putting on polls. So if you guys are wanting to be a YouTuber who are listening to this, that's something that you really want to go and study other YouTubers, see what they're doing, see what works. And also too, even like when you go to someone's channel videos, you can go search by highest viewed video and look, and you'll most of the time see a trend between all the highest viewed videos. And it's some sort of really catchy thumbnail and really catchy title. And so studying that is so incredibly important. So a little tidbit tip for those new YouTubers out there, anyone who wants to be a YouTuber.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I have some common denominators in successful videos.
What's
blue
that?
water. Just blue water.
Oh, blue ass water. Cody Go.
Blue ass water.
Blue ass water.
Is that the title?
No, but blue ass water. This other YouTuber, Cody Co, always basically makes fun of people on YouTube, and he's like, everyone's going to Greece and the blue ass water, and like, he's hilarious.
Yeah. But no, that's also why I shot my suit shot for the recent video. The thumbnail was in a pool, because I was thinking laying in grass, or, you know, just somewhere that kind of looked super obscure to be wearing a suit. But I thought, well, everything that like seems to rank highly is that blue water catches the attention of audience. And if you get their first impression, you know, sometimes it could be as simple as like, what are they going to see from the corner of their eye and then look to? Because if you at least get that chance for them to look with actual intention at your thumbnail, then they'll read the they'll read the title, they'll double glance at what your thumbnail is all about. And that's where like you make the decision. Am I ready to invest the next 5-20 minutes to watch this video? So having certain colors will be more attractive than others.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask a kind of follow-up question. Looking at your most like successful or viral video, what's the thumbnail and title on that one? And what was the process?
I think Laura, you might be the most successful.
Oh, actually, I am the thumbnail. It's me. It's he has a little bit of a trend of using.
I didn't know that, by the way. That wasn't a
backside to get to you. But to be fair, yeah, it's like he
you might be the most successful.
He is, but to be fair, yeah, it's like obviously women in bikinis does well, but especially back in the day.
I had to move away from leaning so heavily on the strategy. And of course, like you work hard on a video, it's like, oh, I can make this creative thumbnail, or I'm just going to use this. It's going to do better.
Stick a chick in a bikini, and it's like, oh, perfect, 100,000
something proven. You're like, done.
Yeah. But at a certain point, if you're trying to build something bigger, you have to stop leaning so heavily on those cheap wins. And I think that was a change I made. I mean, I'm not going to say there's never been a thumbnail with a bikini in the past 2 years, but there's definitely been far fewer, and I don't use it often. Also because I think 2 years ago, they announced that YouTube was stepping and cracking down on that. It could come back to change your channel's almost like PG friendly rating. If you are leaning too heavily on sexualized content, not only is it probably morally a dilemma for some people, it's also going to be a business issue for you. So for me, it just made sense to stop using them as heavily. And, actually 2 videos ago was the first time where I used it, but it wasn't even by choice. I knew I had to use the video.
Just kidding.
The video picked it.
Yeah, you're like, you did this. But it's interesting how and the thing is too, it's like you do also attract a different audience. So your audience will be a lot more male. Going back to that, it's like if I want to do a skincare whatever, and it's like all of a sudden my audience is 90% male, that's not going to happen. I've had friends who that's an issue for, and so they've kind of had to like move away from that. So it's finding that balance.
Also because the brands and the companies, if they have a product for women but your audience is all men, it's like, well, we can't work with her.
Another reason too is being, like you said, being family friendly. So I remember years ago being told by my manager that she's like, you need to stop posting so many bikini photos on Instagram. They weren't even sexual photos. It was just me in a bikini on the beach. And as soon as I kind of stopped doing that, I did start getting more brand deals from like Procter and Gamble and like those family friendly brands where they don't want that Instagram model look. They want someone who looks wholesome, whatever. And so it's like, okay, I can get a lot of likes or I can get money. And essentially it's like, we're doing this as a job. We need money. So you have to sacrifice some of those likes and views for a greater purpose, essentially.
Unless you want to be a Bang Energy girl.
Well, hey, that's we love. Oh, well, yeah, we love the hustle. I also too. Peter and I were talking earlier today. We love how
I'm fascinated by this OnlyFans.
Has like and everyone's like, I'm into OnlyFans. I'm like, not me. But hey, I mean, if that's your brand, if that's whatever, get that coin. Like if you're gonna post those photos anyways on Instagram, you may as well make money from it.
It is a bit of a predicament, hey? Because like I've had this conversation before with people, and they don't really have to change much of who they are or what they're doing, but their personal brand takes a hit from close friends, family.
Totally. And your mom, like, what are you doing?
And the content lives online forever. It's I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It's a pretty big decision, I think, if you're going to like plunge into the OnlyFans realm.
Yeah. But it's true. Like, what they post on Instagram could be exactly the same, but yet if they put it behind a paywall and they provide something that's slightly different, doesn't have to be more sexual, more anything. It can just be different content. People will pay a lot of money for it if people look up to them for their looks.
And I think that's actually what most of them are doing. It's just content off of that's not on Instagram.
Yeah, it's just extra.
So fans are getting, a unique kind of sneak peek into other photos, videos, whatever.
Well, we respect the hustle. All you males, females out there trying to hustle, we respect that. Whatever route you take, positive spin on it. Okay, so
I like that. Yeah.
I mean, we've been talking for a while, so I would love to give some like closeout final questions for you. What do you see like your future looking like 5 years from now? Do you plan on staying in Bali? Where's your channel at?
Yeah. 5 years from now, it's hard to say, but I know that like my goal is to continue to grow my roots here. I'm planning to build some villas out here for investment purposes, but also building my home. I want to, I've got 2 dogs now.
And this is recently, right?
Little floofballs. Yeah. They're a handful, but they're fun. Aww. They're so much fun. And that's kind of got me like realizing that, in 5 years, I think if I'm not starting my family, I'll be starting my family in 5 years.
I was like, does that sound, I was like, hey, we're not getting any younger.
No. I mean, I'm 27 right now, so by 32, like I hope to have like at least my first child, and I think that's what I would like.
Oh, very
But
exciting.
I also know that 5 years is a long time. It could happen sooner, it could be further away. I'm not going to stress by it. All I know is that I like the fact that I feel my business has given me financial flexibility, but also location flexibility. Jost Leblanc in some cases was becoming a bit of like a commitment to lifetime of travel. It was like, if I know I can't make content just around Canada, and I definitely can't make it from one place. So how am I going to be able to ever have like a settled home life? And I want that. I don't want to be somewhere 10 months of the year, but I want to be able to, have somewhere where I'm at for half of the year, and then the rest of it might be spent on little trips around. And so to have that, I'm so glad that I built LCA. Actually, that was one of the reasons that I was like, I need to build a new business that one day allows me not to have to step off to Zimbabwe because it's time to create some fresh content. And
you're like, bye kids, I'm going to Africa.
yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really enjoying my business. I want to keep building LCA. That's my 5-year strategy, is to have it become bigger and better. I see it turning to also physical retreats, where people are coming out to probably Bali. I think it's like one of the most amazing places you could host a retreat. So that's probably the future of it. And then aside from that, I don't know, just hopefully still loving what I do. And if I don't love what I do, then I'll have to figure a way to change that, because I don't think money's worth it if you're not continually, improving and learning and finding importance in your work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, well, that's very exciting. Well, I'm definitely...
You?
Me, well. I mean, to be honest, yeah, it's hard to say with YouTube what's going to happen. For me, my big focus is the travel clothing brand. Like, that's something that I'm excited to take to the next level and have that be my main source of income. I obviously love YouTube and I love making videos, but I mean, social media can be frustrating. And like I said, you don't own your own socials. And so having an extra business that you're really passionate about. And for me, it really feels like something that's like, it aligns perfectly. It's always like, I've always loved fashion. My channel obviously started in fashion. And so when I gave up that side, I was always a little sad. I'm like, I feel like there's this side I'm not like really, tapping into. And so, so it's been really nice. And it just kind of all aligns really well. And so, Peter and I are looking into getting a wiener dog soon, which I know you also like wiener dogs. So, hopefully in the spring.
My favorite dog too.
Which is that's his favorite dog too. Yeah. So all three of us have the same favorite dog. Weird. I know.
We can have a dog sharing program.
Yes. Yeah. Ship it over to Bali. We'll be, we can send photos of our dogs. See, we're all friends now. This is guys, a mature relationship. Everyone can be friends. We love that. So
No, that's super cool.
Any closing remarks you would like to share with the podcast? Honestly, thank you too so much for coming on the podcast. Definitely say hi to your family for me.
My mom's always working in the garden. She's got her new flower Instagram post up.
She's the sweetest. Well, and,
shout out to Campbell's Soup, I guess. Your big sponsor.
No. This was him. He it's an Andy Warhol thing. He's into cool obscure art type stuff. People are always like, "What's the soup bowl?" Well, no, but people are always like, "Whoa, geez, what's the soup bowl?" I get comments all the time on videos, but I mean, it makes kind of a cool, funky
cool. I think because most of the people that come over are like Laura's friends or sister's friends. They're a little bit younger. I'm like, "Oh, it's Andy Warhol." They're like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Oh no." Okay, let's go back a minute here.
On TikTok?
yeah, exactly.
You could do a segment where you have guests on to have soup together. Soup with Laura, and just people slurping the whole time through the microphone.
Exactly.
Partially ASMR, then interviewing about content creation.
Yeah, the content opportunities are endless.
Just wait till we get a dog. That'll be a whole new thing.
Yeah. Oh, I plan on growing. It's going to be a viral TikTok sensation because now I feel like I figured out the TikTok formula. So I'm like, okay, with a dog, I'm friggin' golden. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you should definitely get a kid too. Just use that thing for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm about 5 years, so I'm like, okay, give it same thing, 5 years. I'm like, okay, I could,
And that's time to put that kid to work,
It's
get them likes.
Get in the office.
Teach them to
start making your money back. Joking.
Teach him. He doesn't need to learn any science or arithmetics. It's all about hitting the whoa.
Just give him the vlog camera.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, kids grown up. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting
I'm not on TikTok.
generation.
I can't dance.
Yeah. But anyways, okay, well, thank you so much. I feel like this interview has kind of come to an end. So with that, if you guys aren't following Christian, you definitely need to be. You are such a talented filmmaker, and your vlogs are just like, they get more and more incredible every time. So it's, you're definitely someone to watch. I'm super excited to see what you do in the future, and you're killing it. So congratulations.
Yeah.
I didn't say this yet, but I'm so happy that you got your brand together. And by brand, I mean your clothing brand, because I remember you had that idea so long ago. Even when we broke up, I remember being like, I hope she commits to it, because it's not easy to build your own business, to find suppliers, to deal with the back and forth.
It's really hard.
The stress of building a website and email list and everything. And all these things are so time consuming. You wouldn't even believe it, but you did it. And now you've got that brand under your belt. So congrats. And so nice to meet you, Peter.
Yeah, very nice to meet you too, albeit virtually.
Yeah, sick. All right, guys.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. Okay,
Good night.
bye.
See you later.